Και εμείς θα κλείσουμε την απόψινή εκπομπή με την συνέντευξη του Στεφάν Μπουζνά, που είναι ο Διευθύνων Σύμβουλος στη Euronext. Η Euronext εξαγόρασε το ελληνικό χρηματιστήριο τις προηγούμενες μέρες. Ο κ. Μπουζνά ήρθε στην Αθήνα, συνάντησε τον Πρωθυπουργό και τον Υπουργό Οικονομικών και μίλησε στο Press Talk για το τι ακριβώς θα αλλάξει στην ελληνική οικονομία με την ένταξη του ελληνικού χρηματιστηρίου στο δίκτυο του Euronext. Έχει μεγάλη σημασία να ακούσουμε το τι μας λέει, ακόμα και για τους μικρούς επιχειρηματίες, τους μικρούς μετόχους, αλλά και τις μεγάλες εταιρείες και την πρόθεση που έχει ο ίδιος ακόμα και να ανοίξει, να προσπαθήσει να επηρεάσει και ελληνικές εταιρείες που δραστηριοποιούνται στο χρηματιστήριο της Νέας Υόρκης και σε άλλα χρηματιστήρια για να επανενταχθούν ή να ενταχθούν στο ελληνικό χρηματιστήριο. Ας παρακολουθήσουμε τη συνέντευξη αυτή. Η Euronext, η Ευρωπαϊκή Πλατφόρμα Διαπραγμάτευσης και Υποδομών Χρηματιστηρίων, ανακοίνωσε πριν από λίγες μέρες την επιτυχή ολοκλήρωση της προσφοράς της για τις μετοχές του Χρηματιστηρίου Αθηνών. Με αυτή την εξέλιξη, το ελληνικό χρηματιστήριο εντάσσεται στο δίκτυο του Euronext ως το 8ο μέλος του Ευρωπαϊκού Ομοσπονδιακού Μοντέλου Αγορών, μετά το Άμστερνταμ, τις Βρυξέλλες, το Δουβλίνο, τη Λισαβόνα, το Μιλάνο, το Όσλο και το Παρίσι. Η ελληνική κεφαλαιοαγορά συμμετέχει πλέον πλήρως σε έναν πανευρωπαϊκό όμιλο που πραγματοποιεί 12 δισεκατομμύρια ευρώ συναλλαγές ημερησίως και έχει μέγεθος διπλάσιο από αυτό του Λονδίνου. Οι ελληνικές μετοχές και οι εταιρείες που διαπραγματεύονται στην Αθήνα μετακομίζουν σε ένα ευρύτερο πανευρωπαϊκό περιβάλλον. Αυτό σημαίνει πρόσβαση σε εκτεταμένη δεξαμενή ρευστότητας, νέα τεχνολογία διαπραγμάτευσης, ενιαίο κανονιστικό και υποστηρικτικό πλαίσιο. Η στρατηγική του Euronext είναι να ενώσει διαφορετικές αγορές σε ένα κοινό, διαφανές, ρυθμιζόμενο και εκτεταμένο δίκτυο, προωθώντας την ενοποίηση των ευρωπαϊκών χρηματιστηρίων. Ο Διευθύνων Σύμβουλος και πρόεδρος του Διοικητικού Συμβουλίου, Στεφάν Μπουζνά, βρέθηκε στην Αθήνα μαζί με κλιμάκιο της Euronext, ενώ είχε συνάντηση και με τον Πρωθυπουργό Κυριάκο Μητσοτάκη και τον Υπουργό Εθνικής Οικονομίας Κυριάκο Πιερακάκη. Ο Στεφάν Μπουζνά μίλησε αποκλειστικά στο Press Talk για τις προοπτικές που ανοίγονται για τη χώρα και τις ελληνικές επιχειρήσεις με την ένταξη του ελληνικού χρηματιστηρίου στον όμιλο Euronext.
Mr. Buzna, why did Euronext choose this particular moment to acquire the Athens Stock Exchange?
Because it's a right time for Euronext, which has now built a company which operates an equity market which is integrated in Europe and which is twice the size of the London equity market, with 6.5 trillion of aggregate market capitalizations, with the 12 billion of volumes per day. So it's the right time to get to the next level for us and to continue expanding in Europe and to build the capital market union for real. So many people, many leaders want integrated capital markets in Europe. We are making integrated capital markets for real. It's the right time also because ATEX is an extremely impressive success story. The recent numbers they have published are very impressive. The teams have done an amazing job to build the recovery of the company. So ATEX is a great company and a great performing market infrastructure. And it's the right time to invest in Greece because we want to buy now before it is too late, when we see the impressive recovery of the Greek economy and the impressive performance in terms of public accounts, but also in terms of actual growth and the amount of energy that is emerging from a large group of Greek entrepreneurs.
And what were the key factors that convinced you that Greece fits into the Euronext long-term expansion strategy?
Well, we find many important components of growth here. There is a sort of, and I'm saying I hope it doesn't sound arrogant, anomalies in the Greek markets. The Greek market is great, but insulated. So what we are trying to achieve and where we believe there is a potential is that we believe that there is much more growth potential than what can be delivered by a single country, isolated platform. And for example, we want to make the derivative markets as dynamic as it used to be. We want to find a path for Greek shipping companies that are listed abroad, including at Euronext and in Oslo, or many of them in New York, to consider that now, with a single liquidity pool, a single order book, an entry point in Athens to a very large market in a few months' time, they can list at home. They have no reason related to the liquidity of the local market to be listed abroad. So we believe that there are many things that can be possible, including in the energy sector, which is really transforming, and where companies like NX, the electricity exchange, can be a fundamental driver of the transformation of the electricity market, not only in Greece, but in the Balkans, in the Southeastern Europe part of the world. So there are many opportunities that can be unleashed as soon as this great company is becoming part of a pan-European project.
So many Greek companies still rely heavily on bank financing. How can Euronext help deepen capital market culture in Greece and attract more firms to list?
Well, a few things can be done. First, when the merger is completed and when the Greek capital market is becoming part of a single liquidity pool, single order book, single technology platform, and is fully integrated in pan-European capital markets, clearly the liquidity will be so much bigger, then you will get a platform that will be appealing to the rest of the world, the global investors, much more than today. Second, I think that the government has done all sorts of great things to incentivize and to encourage and to help retail investors to invest in IPOs, in public companies. But these tools, including tax incentives for investing in public in IPOs, are not very much used for the moment. Third, I think there is a good reservoir, a good pipe of great companies. I mean, the number of entrepreneurs in Greece that have built great companies that are listed and that are ambitious and that want to become European champions or global champions is not small. And if they want to expand abroad, to invest in technology, to take risk, the only asset classes that is fit for risk-taking, for long-term investment is equity. It's the exchange. So I think we are going to be the right solution to address the needs of many Greek entrepreneurs that were skeptical so far about the local exchange. So here again, I think we can unleash a lot of value both for issuers and for ATEX.
And do you expect the deal to attract new international investors to Greece?
In every places where that joined Euronext over the past 10 years, since I became a CEO in Ireland, in 2018 when we acquired the Irish Stock Exchange, in Norway in 2019 when we acquired Oslo Børs VPS, in 2021 when we acquired the Borsa Italiana, we have seen a significant increase in the liquidity and a significant increase of the global investors' focus. That will be certain because we are going to do that at a time where anyway, because of the fundamental positive developments in the Greek economy, the rest of the world is just saying, maybe we should change our mind and we should look again at the Greek economic development. So we are going to offer a vehicle to capture the attention of the rest of the world and to connect global money with Greek opportunities.
How do you view the prospects of the Greek economy over the next 5 years?
We are extremely bullish, extremely positive. You know, what this country has done over the past 10 years is just impressive. What the governments have done over the years, in particular the last one, to improve the competitiveness of the Greek economy, to modernize it, to jump 2 or 3 hurdles at the same time and to move through digitalization in particular to a level of competitiveness that is on some segments of competitiveness ahead of some other European countries. What has been done with the sort of ascetic discipline management of public accounts, what has been done in terms of attracting foreign investment is just impressive. And I think we are just at the beginning because what is being piled up in terms of competitiveness reform, in terms of opening up the country to competition, in terms of accelerated modernization of all sorts of obsolete approaches, is going to change the shape of the country. And you have created flexibility because you have sound public accounts.
And do you identify any specific sectors, be it tourism, be it energy, be it shipping, to technology, where you see some investment potential?
Well, you just named them all. I mean, you have Greece is a country of entrepreneurs. Greece is a country of traders. Greece is a country of engineers. So when you combine trading tradition, engineering tradition, entrepreneurship, you get the recipe for people creating businesses. So we are observing an appetite or growth of the technology sector. Tourism is just basic, obvious, I mean, trying to make money from what the gods have created in this part of the world. And that's clear that there are many opportunities. We are very active in the energy sector at group level, in particular through a company called Nord Pool, which operates electricity exchange and soon power derivative platforms in the north of Europe. And so we are very committed to try and take to the next level what can be done in the Balkan Peninsula, because like any geographic peninsula, you have more accurate or more complicated interconnectivity problems, and therefore a stronger need to produce the right prices for power and electricity. So we see opportunities in energy. We see an opportunity in the tourism sector, which is booming. We see opportunities in the tech sector, as I mentioned it. And shipping is more a matter of repatriating great companies by making them change their mind about all the reasons why they moved away for raising money. They can get the best of both worlds now, to be Greek, and most of them remain extremely Greek culturally, but also to be Greek from a form of capital structure and capital raising approach.
Europe currently is facing some geopolitical uncertainty. Does this volatility make Greece a safer or a riskier bet for investment, you sense?
I think Europe in general is a safe place, in general. I mean, there are fundamental nuances, maybe we'll come back to that direction of travel, which are different, but in general, the rest of the world is investing more money in Europe than a few years ago, because they are reallocating risk away from the US. Many global investors, and I meet many of them, tell me, well, we were over-concentrated in the US. US is developing some features of an emerging market with much more unpredictable decisions, much more weakening of the rule of law than what we were used to, much more self-inflicting wounds in the industry. So it's weird, and we need to be insulated from that volatility, and maybe more exposure to Europe is better than in the past. But within Europe, it's clear that, you know, the numbers are telling. Greece today, when Greek citizen or the Hellenic Republic borrows from 10 years for 10 years from the rest of the world, you pay approximately 3.2%, 3.3%. The UK pays 4.5%. France pays 3.5%. So you are in a situation, by the way, just like Portugal and Spain, and the way you borrow less for a price which is less expensive than the price France pays. Now, when you compare that to what was the situation just 10 years ago, it's amazing. No one 10 years ago would have bet that there will be one day where Greece will borrow for 10 years for a price which is higher than the one of Germany, but cheaper than France. So it tells a lot about the developments in France, but it tells a lot about the developments in Greece. And
it caused a lot of pain, of course, to do this comeback, but
no, I mean that
for success.
I think I mentioned it. The price paid by the Greek society through various governments, left governments, right governments, left governments, right governments, to deliver the recovery is huge. I mean, a generation of people had to pay a heavy price to pay the mistakes of the previous generations without necessarily benefiting from what is going to benefit to the young generation now. But this is history. We don't choose the place we live. We can move to another place, but when there was one thing we cannot choose at all, which is the moment where we were born. And we were born, you were born, and I come from a country like France, which is experiencing huge troubles in terms of public finances in particular, and where there is a new look at the pigs. You remember that 10 years ago or 12 years ago, the Financial Times invented this concept of pigs. Portugal,
Italy, Spain,
Greece, and Spain.
Greece, yeah.
When you look at the pigs, when you look at the numbers, Portugal is in a budget surplus situation. Greece is in a budget surplus situation. Greece is anticipating repayments of its sovereign debt. Last week, I'm a French taxpayer. My government received a check of €1 billion from the Greek government for repayment of the support provided something like 10 years ago.
Now the serious problem lies with the rest of the European countries.
Yeah, so my point is that Portugal is in better shape, Greece in a better shape. Actually, Italy has a budget primary surplus and is close to the 3% deficit next year. Spain is close to 3% as well. So clearly the problem is not anymore with Portugal, Italy, Greece, and Spain. The problem in terms of public finance, in terms of the euro currencies, are in other places. And that's why, and that didn't come by chance. It came with reform on pensions, reform on the public services, reform on government expenditures. So some people had to pay for it, and most of the Greek society did pay for it.
So what is your message to the average, to the Greek entrepreneurs who wants to understand what messages the Euronext entry to the Greek market means? Why should they be optimistic?
They should be optimistic for two reasons. First, they will have soon a platform to raise equity and to finance risk. But what is equity? Equity is a way to finance projects where you are not certain of when the cash flow, when the return will come. If you are absolutely certain of the return, you go to the bank and you borrow money and everything is predictable. If you do things that are not predictable because it's risky, because it's innovative, because you are entering into new geographies, you need to raise equity. Now, you will have a platform, thanks to success of ATEX, embedded now within a successful equity market infrastructure like Euronext. You will have a platform to raise money and to connect with the global investors in a much more efficient way than in the past. But the other element, to relate to your previous question, is that Euronext investing in ATEX and deploying capital in Greece is a signal to the rest of the world that this is the right time to invest in Greece. This is a signal that it is the right opportunity, just like UniCredit taking a stake in Alpha. So it's really a signal that we believe that it's the place to do business for the coming years, and that as Europeans, we are observing the positive outcome of the recovery, and we want to be part of the next phase of the recovery. We believe that the worst is behind and that the best is ahead. That's the signaling that is important for all the entrepreneurs.
In the last decade, we saw an exodus of Greek listed companies from the Athens exchange seeking listings in other European markets, including Euronext. Now, do you see this trend reversing?
I don't know, but what I can tell you is that great Greek companies are listed on Euronext. A shipping company is listing on Euronext Oslo. A great defense company, Theon, which is an amazing success, is listed in Amsterdam, which is all fine. But tomorrow, when ATEX is part of the single liquidity pool, is part of the Euronext integrated platform, is part of the single order book, then being listed in Oslo or Amsterdam or Athens will be the same for liquidity purpose. So we will be in a situation where the offer, the value proposition of ATEX, of Euronext Athens, will be fundamentally different. So I think that people may decide to be listed in other locations for other reasons, but not anymore for the market to be too small, too insulated, and not liquid enough. Yeah. That will be behind us.
And do you sense that you can even convince Greek ship owners, for example, to list in
That's my
Athens?
objective. I want to work, and I have a dialogue with various banks, and I want to spend time between January and the summer to meet the ones that are listed in New York and to try and understand why they still want to be listed in New York. If their family, their traditions, their soul, their identity is in Greece, their business is in Greece, I can understand why, when they were considering that the Greek market was too small, too insulated, they decided to list somewhere else. But now, we want to go to the root of what are their motivations, and I want to spend time with partners, and some few large banks are committed to work on that one, to try and repatriate shipping companies. I hope we'll be successful. I'm not sure, because maybe they have another agenda, but at least we'll go to the root of the matter, is that we are changing the environment. Do you want to benefit from it? And we all live in a private economy, and people do their choices and they decide what is good for them. But I think we can create a momentum. We can create a momentum in the perception, and we are going to invest, as you know, on a support and technology center.
That was my last question. In previous Euronext acquisitions, like Portugal, Euronext created centers of excellence. Are you planning something similar in Greece?
Yes. You refer to what we've done in Portugal, which is very interesting. In 2016, when I joined, I joined in 2015, but I've decided to create a small nearshore technology platform in Porto, which is the Portuguese Thessaloniki. All the countries in Europe have a capital city and another competing city. So you have Dublin, Cork, in Ireland, Oslo, Bergen, Amsterdam, Rotterdam. You have Athens, Thessaloniki, and they have Lisbon, Porto. So we decided to create in Porto a small team of technology people. There were 60 of them. And we recruited a guy to run this development called Manuel Bento. And now, today, Manuel Bento has become the chief operating officer of the full Euronext group. And we have 500 people in Porto. And we had even to move to another building. And the only building we found that was fit for us is the former building of the Department of Pharmacy at the Porto University. I don't know whether we'll do the same here, but what I can tell you is that we are going to create in January, February, a support and technology center based in Athens to develop technology solutions and support solutions for the rest of the Euronext group, not necessarily for ATEX, but just for the rest of the Euronext group, because we want to capture, to benefit from the high quality of talents here. You have great people working hard that operate with a level of competitiveness in terms of cost, which is superior than the rest of Europe. So I don't know whether it will be a Me Too, a similar development as in Porto, but the ambition is the same. How to make sure that we can improve the performance of the full group by having in Athens great talents who are hoping or want to work for a global company, or at least a pan-European company, while remaining in Athens. And that's our ambition. So I'm super enthusiastic, and that will go beyond just IT. We believe that in other business functions, we can find great talents here. Athens is a very large city. And there is something specific about Greece, which is the sort of profound civilizational openness to trade and to the rest of the world. Philoxenia does matter. And it's a word that was invented here and that exists mainly here. And philoxenia plus the sort of focus of all the families that save so much money to pay education abroad to their kids, combined with the fact that in average, Greek speaks English better than most of the Europeans. They speak English like in the Scandinavian countries. Combined with the fact that for 3,000 years, people take the boat to trade from one island to the other things. And that trading is part of the tradition, like sort of Mediterranean Netherlands. This is a fundamental, profound cultural recipe for success in the new redefinition of globalization. Globalization is becoming more regional, and in this moment of reset reboot of globalization, I think you have all the components here in terms of talents, in terms of culture, in terms of technology focus, in terms of government focus on competitiveness, in terms of quality of public accounts. You have all the recipe to join the winners of the next 20 years. And we want to be part of this process. That's why we are here.
Finally, Mr. Buzna, there's a lot of talk in Europe about the Savings and Investments Union. What role is Euronext playing in this?
Well, the short version is that people talk a lot about the Savings Investment Union in Brussels. We make it for real here in Athens and in other places, because we build a single integrated equity market in Europe with a federal governance, with a federal supervision that works for real. The company now has something like 14 billion euro market cap. When I joined, it was a 1.4 billion market cap. We have been through a long journey of integrated capital market infrastructure for equity for real. So that's the short version. More, if I step back for a moment, clearly the ambition of the Commission, of this Commission, is much stronger than ever. I mean, honestly, the Capital Market Union concept was invented by Jonathan Hill when he was the British Commissioner back in the days when the UK was part of the European Union, and when London was the largest financial center of the European Union. With the Brexit, the Brits have decided that the UK should not be anymore the largest financial center of the European Union. It should be the largest financial center of the United Kingdom. So we were left with no real natural sponsor for the Capital Market Union. And I wouldn't say that we have wasted 10 years, but we have been slow for the past 10 years. Things have changed completely. The lady who runs the show for the Saving Investment Union, Mrs. Albuquerque, is a former Minister of Finance of Portugal during the great financial crisis. So she knows the troika, as they say in Italian. She has seen the thieves of the wolf. She is very committed to deliver for real. I'm super optimistic. This week, by the way, the European Commission, under the leadership of Mrs. Albuquerque, is going to release their proposal. And they are very ambitious when it comes to single supervision, when it comes to attracting investment from retail towards equity markets, in terms of moving to pension funds. I mean, clearly, the main difference between the European situation and the US success is not only technology. The main difference is that in the US, if you want to have some income when you are old, you need to buy shares when you are young. Hence, it has developed a huge industry of transforming pension savings into equity investments. In Europe, if you want to have some income when you are old, you just have to hope that people around you at that time will continue paying taxes and social contribution, which is a totally different environment. If you want to help people to prepare a decent pension, and if you want to finance your local economy, you need to drive household savings in pensions and then to equity. And I think they want that. They want to deliver that. So I'm super optimistic, super enthusiastic, but the time they take to deliver what they have to deliver or to build a European consensus, because this is the way it works, is parallel to what we do at a much quicker, much faster speed, which is the corporate development of Euronext as a group.
Mr. Bouza, thank you very much for sharing your enthusiasm today. And good luck.